been really a successful project, not only from the standpoint of work done within the project, but also engaging with external stakeholders. So this kind of group work, teamwork was what made this project a successful one. Yeah.
We can really redevelop some value chain, have more resilient industries in Europe. Don't do things because you want to pay more for something. You do this because you want to be better, more successful, more collaborative. Composites are different because they are made complex. Developed for durability, flexibility, resistance, lightweight.
And it was a nice example of international collaboration, and let's continue this story
together.
Yeah.
So we are here at the final Recreate event. It was an exciting day. Now we are sitting with Juri and Sebastian. And to wrap up the day, I'd like to have a quick introduction of yourself, basically where you're coming from, what brought you to Recreate, and then we will come obviously to this consortium, how it started 4 years ago, how it ended officially today, but obviously we will carry all the knowledge towards the world. But let's start with a short introduction. Juri?
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure talking to you, Yannick. Together with Sebastian Jurij, we represent Meta-Circularity, an advisory firm seated in Ljubljana, Slovenia. And we are proud to be a part of an interesting initiative, Recreate Composites. It is a EU co-funded initiative centered on how to make complex composite materials more circular, and this means in several ways. Our typical role is in every consortium basically is to work with the results and organize business modeling, business planning, and bringing them as close to the market as possible. And this was also our role in Recreate, a really precious initiative that has produced very good results and has also been successful in relating to a number of stakeholders. So we are optimistic now when the project is ending that we will be able to continue our work. So this is really very precious, and the event today actually confirms multiple interests from all those who have attended it.
Thank you, Juri. Sebastian, a few words on your side?
Yannick, thank you from my side as well for joining us here. This final step and this celebration actually of the project that has been going on for 4 years. It's been really a successful project, well managed, and not only from the standpoint of work done within the project, but also, like Juri said, engaging with external stakeholders, and we already see some opportunities to continue exploiting the results. So it's been really maybe an end, but the start of a new story, where we can also see a lot of opportunities to scale up the technologies in making the circular the composites more circular. Yeah.
I mean, very nice. And I mean, I've been attending today for the first time to a Recreate event. I mean, it's the last, so it was time finally to participate. See, we saw a family more than just strangers around. Lots of people having enthusiasm. But let's start at the beginning. How does such a project shape, and how do you win such a project? Because we often hear about how cumbersome it is to apply, and I mean also to win because it's highly selective. How do you make that possible?
Well, first of all, I think the praise should go to a very competent composition of the entire consortium of 21 members, led by a very prominent institution, Il Politecnico di Milano, and its Department of Chemistry, Giulionata. The lead partner was represented by Professor Gianmarco Griffini, who is the coordinator of Recreate. And definitely, I mean, the competencies of the lead partner and that comprised also some past experience with at least some of the academic and research partners that were involved in this project. I think is a good starting point. We had the University of Tampere, the University of Patras, National Research Center of France, and several more prominent, renowned academic and research institutions involved in this project. So this was certainly one important bedrock. Then next, I think it was really important to have a well composed set of demonstrators that could, really showcase the use of technologies that basically evolved around, three main lines. One is recycling, of course, recycling complex composites, which is typically not so simple, and then regenerating and repurposing, either carbon reinforced or glass fiber reinforced or carbon fiber reinforced materials. And the third option was centered on how to redesign products, basically, so that composites could actually perform their most important characteristic, that is, durability, resistance, and some other components like lightweight or so. But with the circular design, of course, you can emphasize these characteristics while increasing repairability and extending life cycle. And so we worked successfully in all three directions. And again, it was certainly a fruit of several of these components that I tried to outline. And in the end, I think it was also, and Sebastian could maybe elaborate on this, it was also a result of dedication of the people. So it's always down to the people, and then good leadership.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say?
Every proposal starts with proposal writing, right? So obviously that's an important part, but it's just ideas on a piece of paper, and then when you win a project, it's about execution. So here the willingness of all the partners really showed up, and it really was a nice example of international collaboration. And yeah, really every partner was super proactive, which will definitely make the exploitation activities for us was almost an easy job, because without the participation of technical as well as people from the business side, it's simply not possible. So I think this kind of a group work and teamwork was what made this project a successful one. Yeah. But to answer one of the other questions from before as well, writing the proposal is really about the impact. I think the Europe is really wanting you to demonstrate how the technologies will create impact down the road. So it's not only about making a great piece of technology, reach some great KPIs, but also demonstrate that there's a market need for these technologies, and there's a real kind of a need of solving a real need. And I think Recreate was addressing a real market challenge, and we I think successfully addressed some of the problems from the sustainability perspective.
And as you say, it's about solving real issues, real challenges, tackling them. And your position is interesting because you mentioned, I am really biased toward composites, obviously, being 20 years in composites. You are into circular economy, so you are looking into very different industries and dynamics. How does it compare when you look at composites in the complexity of the value chain and to finally establish a solution, let's say a plug-and-play solution for recycling, to do something out of post-production and post-consumer waste? How do you compare it to other value chains, or is it even comparable?
Would you like to start?
I mean, I can definitely say that it's a pretty particular industry. It's not maybe as simple as some where there's only one kind of material and one kind of waste at the end of life. So, but it definitely can compare in terms of how you can address different parts of the value chain, and the one thing that is definitely similar between all the industries is that you have to address the whole value chain. So you can create a solution for end of life, but without, like you mentioned before, without the circular design at the beginning, there's nothing, there's not a nice homogeneous value chain in the end. But of course, the reality is that it takes some years to arrive at it. So maybe the peculiarity of the composites industry is that the value chain is pretty complex, and we have to address every single stage. And because the materials and products are very durable, it takes even much longer that these concepts can be integrated. But you simply have to start, because 30 years will pass if we start or not. So this is what I would say.
Definitely. I mean, what I can add is that, yes, we are very passionate about the circular economy, and we've been working on this topic for about a dozen years, if not more. Still, this was a deep dive for us into the world of composites as well. And I would start this comparison by saying that, while in other industries or value chains, the reasoning starts. The reasoning about maintaining the value in the loop actually is more discrete. It's somehow simpler, let's say, because we can think in terms of components, more elementary materials, or repurposing in ways that don't require some complex design solutions. In this case, we have to understand that composites are different because they are made complex. They are purposely, developed for durability and for, associated with some other specific characteristics like flexibility, resistance, responsiveness, lightweight, and so forth and so forth. And this means that we have to treat them as components because they are already pre-designed, but they are considered to be materials. We have this problem when we consider, the recycling of composites. They are not treated as a special category. They have to be somehow identified within, many more things in the bin. But they are so. First of all, the traceability is already an issue, and characterization. So, of course, this means that we badly need, the phenomenon that Europe has been waiting, I think, for a long time, which is the digital product passport. In this case, and so if you can somehow first of all identify and characterize and prepare these materials at the end of life, then you have a much better chances to keep the value that is already incurred in these complex structures. And then of course they need different technologies to be applied. We were very successful in this, I must say, but from here to the industrial use of these technologies, we need to go still a long way, because there should be new devices developed, basically, that will allow for, in some cases, at least in some cases, that will allow for practical applications of these technologies in multiple uses. Some can be actually applied much easier because the loops are established at the level of the regenerated materials themselves, or they can basically be applied with existing tools and machinery. And in this case, we could, of course, repurpose a good part of let's say, products composite-based products at the end of life. So there are a variety of options, but the most valuable ones are those that still need, to go through this product development stage, if I may use this term more as a metaphor. And I think what we have learned today from several speakers representing industry associations, in particular, was that there is a huge opportunity for Europe in this because it is about possibilities that have not yet turned into products. I mean, we can really redevelop some value chains, and by this also we can have more resilient industries in Europe, and we can industrial European industries thanks to innovation. So I think we should basically now address the question of how to be courageous enough and how to incentivize those industrial players who are interested and motivated in the uptake, but may face some doubts or some obstacles on their way.
I mean, you mentioned a very interesting point. I think, of course, it comes to scaling. I mean, especially when you run those projects, first is proof of concept. You need to prove that it works. And I think I was mentioning earlier on, but still outside of our bubble, there are a lot of industrial players. They don't know, or they don't want to know, whatever. But we have to really go there and prove, okay, there is no excuse anymore. But then, of course, the claim is, does it scale? And it's a low volume industry, high value, so it has its challenges. But coming back to, you said, resiliency, sovereignty, I mean, these words we hear today. But when I look back at the 4 last years, you basically encountered quite interesting also geopolitical situations. I mean, when it started, it was just post-COVID. Now, I mean, we saw the last 2 years, and now, not long ago, also an oil-related crisis again. How do you see this geopolitics playing in favor of exactly what you are trying to do? I mean, shaping this kind of resilient, more local supply chains based on getting back what we have here as mines. Sebastian?
Yeah, I mean, I think even though the conditions are not really optimal, but they proved that we are doing something that's important from a strategic point of view, and it's definitely, just improved our story basically. And it was much. It's at some point, it's much. You need an opportunity that maybe comes from the outside, maybe for some reasons that are not, like I said, really optimal. But yeah, it shows that Europe needs to become more independent in these terms. And we heard many times today the expression about the rare materials and being a resource independent from our powerhouses of the world. So in terms of the project itself, it just reinforced our story. This is what I would say. I don't know, Juri, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, the bottom line is that the case has only become stronger. Certainly, we have to be aware of some peculiarities that emerged through this period. Definitely, there is more uncertainty, and we have to prepare for even more uncertainty. I mean, we have to understand that we are in the middle of a very dynamic transition, globally speaking, and so this will not go away by itself. And uncertainty is an inhibitor, of course, for many. On the other hand, it is also a situation that urges a response. And so you have to basically, if you want to play it right, you should not wait and linger. You should do something about it. And I'm putting it up because we should understand the degree of uncertainty that it has been increasing. So the response at the European level, of course, that is needed it should also come as a complex set of actions. And sometimes we should not be overly critical and impatient. So I am quite optimistic about that. I'm actually patiently optimistic about the possibilities of Europe's industries to respond to several challenges that we have. But if I want to be a little bit more specific, it is quite clear that circularity is, the answer, and it's obvious from the words that we have been hearing here in Brussels, and coming from Brussels, but that have been heard also elsewhere across the continent. Now there's more sobriety, more experience also in how to make the circular economy work. And there's quite a lot of listening, I would say. So thanks to the fact that Europe has been working on this for quite some time now very structurally, we are going to move forward again. So I'm quite confident about that. We are also quite much better prepared. So in spite of the fact that apparently, politically, there has been also some criticism to the fact that with the omnibus interventions at the EU level, some of the Green Deal targets and measures have been diluted. I think on the other hand, there are more targeted actions in the pipeline, and some of them have also been already adopted across the board. That will definitely reinforce European industries, and we will simply have to accept that we will have to do things in our own way, that we have to be our own leaders. We will have to be different. There's no lighthouse out there for us on this journey, and we will have to be our own masters of navigation. But we, I think, have put our act together basically in the right way. So we have to be confident about that, and that's why I am very much convinced that going on with the European circular economy is the right direction for the European competitiveness. And we've been repeating many years, circular economy is innovation. Nothing but innovation, and it should never be seen as a forced measure or added cost. That's never the right way. You don't do things because you want to pay more for something. You do this because you want to be better, more successful, more collaborative, and working for the benefit of the many. So that's the circular economy.
Very, very strong words here. I think what is interesting with resiliency and all this changing environment is, we spoke with some friends a few days ago, we coined it, we need to be agile, resilient, and this is sometimes not intuitive, but I think that's where you need also people passionate, and you need people driving it, beside having big concepts. And coming back to the people, because we saw many people today in the room and outside of the room being passionate. You have to be to sustain 4 years of a project which is a bit aside of your day-to-day job usually. And you really had great success. You delivered a lot of results. But also before the event, you met people from the European Commission. And how much effect or impact do these results have, these very tangible results, on policymakers to understand challenges but also opportunities?
Policy is always a big topic, right? Especially in if we go back to the question before about the comparison between different industries and how to implement circular principles into them. Definitely having a complex, or let's say, waste. This is something that many projects have been dealing with. So this is one of the topics that was also a part of one of the activities now in the past year that we've supported together with the partner that's dealing with basically waste management, called Composites. And yeah, I mean, we had a panel today about the policy recommendations and legislation, and I would say that the main kind of message was that on one hand we need it, but the innovators, the startups, however I want to call them, they have to start doing it, you know, no matter what the conditions are, because sooner or later everything will fall in place, and then these solutions will just be ready to take off. So sometimes they say you have to be lucky, you know, to be successful. But I think you're lucky, you're unlucky until you're lucky. So you just have to have a long-term vision, and yeah, this is my opinion about regulation. So we need it, but we shouldn't be constrained by it.
Yeah, we should not wait for the regulation to do things instead of us. And I fully agree that this was one of the strongest learnings today. I mean, entrepreneurs should lead the way and should do their job, and they should basically be regarded as the main point of observation. More broadly, I would say yesterday the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Conference here in Brussels was opened by an intervention of Enrico Letta, the author of the report on the single market, or on the one market that we want to have in the end of the process. And in this speech, and in one of the main messages was that yes, the European the European Circular Economy Act is a high priority, and it's coming up before the end of this year, and it is regarded as an important step on the way to this one market, one European market. So it is regarded as a part of the solutions that we need in order to remove the obstacles here. And I really like that, because I think the resilience in the end will never come from preventing others to enter, or from keeping the incumbents in their present positions. On the contrary, this can only make us weaker. I think we have to be open and innovative, and accept others among us, whoever wants to do things in our own way. And circular should be our own way, should be the European way of doing things. And this is where we can also show an example for others and work with everybody in this world.
I totally agree. It should not be a defense barrier, it should be a catalyst.
Yeah.
So, and as you were saying, Sebastian, I mean, somehow we have to do. And by doing, we grow, we learn, and together we learn faster. Yeah. So I think that was a fantastic example with Recreate. That, I mean, we often say in composites, stronger together, because we just put lots of things together.
Right.
Obviously, for the pain of separating them at the end, but we are working on that. But I see also here in the room, I mean, obviously we pull these people together with a Recreate project. I mean, now somehow they are going different ways, but as you said, I mean, you already miss them, but it's only the beginning. Now it's about making the impact, spreading the word. So now we send out this virality into the world, and yeah, we need to keep pushing, all of us at our different levels. And yeah, I'm super happy that, I mean, thanks a lot that you supported in your way as a composites environment ecosystem. Obviously now you are part of it, so welcome into the Composites family.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad that you hosted us here, and thanks a lot for your words.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us, Yannick, and it was really a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Huge thanks from my side. And everyone watching, you know, you're more than welcome to reach out to us. We'll connect you with our partners, and let's continue this story
together. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick.